Hey, we welcome you to this program on learning how to live happy. I've asked probably a few hundred people by now, whenever they're experiencing a negative emotion, that if they could replace that emotion, whatever that negative emotion is, with something else, the vast majority say they would like to be happy. And I think that's probably pretty real. And so this course is really designed to get us to that place where we can live happy no matter really what's going on in our life. I'd like to kind of just help you understand that, I have a lot of stuff that comes into my office, and what I mean by stuff, people are dealing with relationship issues or ADHD, loneliness, they're grieving, whatever the case may be. And I have discovered now, honestly, that the vast majority of that stuff that comes into my office is really traceable to how the person actually sees themselves. And so for those of you that are joining here and you're wondering, well, what is this course going to do? If you ever sense at all any type of insecurity in yourself, or you are having a lot of relationship struggles, if you find yourself being defensive, if you're kind of flipping back and forth between anxiety and depression, you feel like that you're going to fall apart when you're in a social setting, you're constantly concerned what other people are thinking about you, this is the course for you. That's no way to live. That's an exhausting way to live. But we can live to be happy. And so my program is designed to get us to understand a few things. And one of the things that we're going to do in this course is we're going to tie some of the most recent research in science with regards to the impact that has our body, our design, our cells has on how we're actually living life. And so we're going to take you from a place of where you probably never ever would have thought that this was the actual source of your problem. And we will introduce to you human design to the degree that by the time we're finished talking about it, you're going to be like, oh, that totally makes sense. That is the source of my problem. And then we're going to teach you how to take what has been stored in you and has been stored at the cellular level, including even onto your very DNA. We were going to actually show you how to get a hold of that stuff and be able to flip it out and change it. Now, if you're approximately 30 years old, well, you've already been alive for well over 270,000 hours. That's a lot of hours. Okay. That's 270,000 hours of absorbing, if you will, your life experience. Sometimes some of you, perhaps in your family of origin growing up, maybe people didn't pay too much attention to you and your family, so maybe you felt like you didn't matter. Or maybe you had a kind of a rigid parent, one who it had to be their way or the highway. And so maybe sometimes you struggled with like feeling like you were acceptable only if you were doing it their way did you feel like you were okay. Maybe your parents talked more about one of your siblings and seemed to always put them on a higher plane or whatever, and so maybe you kind of grew up kind of with an idea that maybe you weren't good enough or you were inadequate or something like that. Maybe you get into situations where you've had maybe significant events happen to you in your life where you felt like you had no control, therefore maybe felt like you were incapable or helpless or powerless. Whatever the conditions were that shaped what I would call these type of insecurities inside of you, those insecurities got stored and they got, if you will, reinforced and reintegrated for those 270,000 hours. Well, it's time to undo it, and it is actually, we actually can undo it. That wasn't good, was it? We actually can undo it, and I know this is going to be kind of strange to you, but we can take what you have learned for those 270,000 hours, and in approximately 20 hours, we can flip all that learning out, where you can see it so clearly that you will, through the process of the program, even after the first couple of sessions, you're going to already beginning to feel more confident and more secure in yourself. You're going to be able to see things more clearly. And then by the end of the program, you should be in a place, honestly, where you have seen everything so clearly that you just literally will have let go of things inside of you in that learning that's just not even real. And I don't want to be over dramatic, but that's about how long it takes to actually switch out some of that learning. Of course, you'll find out during the course it's also important that you continue to persist and be consistent in that awareness. And so the program does also include an aftercare program, which will help provide the support that you keep doing things consistently. If you will go through the program, if you will go through the aftercare program, if you will sincerely and consistently do the homework that's assigned to this program, I promise you that you will find the changes that you have been looking for a very, very long time.
It's perfect.
That sound all right?